Hello everyone, it's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap that notification bell, and like this video. It does help me keep making videos, and I would appreciate it majorly. Okay, so, there's a pretty serious situation developing in Libya. It has over the coming days, and weeks. The country's been in turmoil, more or less, since Muammar Gaddafi was deposed, and I don't even know when that was, 2014. So there's this general of the Libya National Army. He's sort of a self-proclaimed general. However, a previous UN-backed government of Libya had named him the general of the Libyan National Army, and he's basically, his forces are based in the east. The east, moving towards Tripoli today, and they've basically arrived there in the southern part of the city. There's skirmishes taking place in the southern suburbs or just south of the city. I think he was also intending to take over the airport that I believe one of the airports south of Tripoli that's not even being used, as I understand it. Some of the Libyan Air Force of the UN-backed government, I think, have done some airstrikes to basically sort of halt his advance. But there's a number of different things going on. I think some of his troops were actually captured overnight in another part of the city or outside the city by the UN-backed government, as well as there's various factions, militia factions that are supporting the UN government from Mizda in another city. I forget. I'm sure I'll get to it hopefully in the report. So, I mean, if I could quickly, there's just a lot going on, and it's hard to piece it all together, and it's changing by the moment, So, fresh fighting has flared near the Libyan capital Tripoli between pro-government forces and rebel fighters from the east of the country. The rebel fighters are under the command of this guy, General Haftar, Khalifa Haftar, who I believe at one point he helped Muammar Gaddafi come to power, but then had a falling out with him and he was exiled. And I think he was in America for many, many years. I believe he actually has U.S. citizenship, and then he returned when Muammar Gaddafi was deposed, in the new revolution. So Tripoli is the base of the UN-backed internationally recognized government. UN's Libya envoy has insisted that a planned conference on a possible new election will stand to go ahead. I think that's scheduled for April 12th through the 16th. They're planning on new elections to form a new government, and they're still saying that that's going to go forward. However, that may change in the coming days. So UN troops in the capital have been placed on high alert. Libya has been torn by violence and political instability since longtime ruler Muammar Gaddafi was deposed and killed in 2011. I said 2014, excuse me. General Haftar, who was appointed chief of the Libyan National Army under an earlier UN-backed administration, ordered his forces to advance on Tripoli on Thursday as UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres was in the city to discuss the ongoing crisis. And actually, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres met with General Haftar, in addition to, I believe, the UN-backed Prime Minister. So here's some video of some of General Haftar's forces advancing on the city, just in trucks with heavy artillery, weapons, etc. Sort of, and this was posted on, I think, the Libya National Army's website, and some might call it propaganda, whatever. It's some pretty heavy artillery, though, and there's more. It goes on, it continues. And here's just some video just to see that there is some fairly serious fighting going on of tanks firing on, I believe outside the city of Tripoli, or in their advance to Tripoli. I think a town south of Tripoli they've taken control of, General Khalifa Haftar. And I believe this is the day prior. This is not from today, I believe. So, like I said, there's a lot going on. It's hard to know exactly. On Saturday, the rebel army were said to have made their way into the suburbs just 12 miles from the city center, according to Sky News Arabia. Local media reported that pro-GNA militia in the Ain Zara suburb were laying down arms and surrendering to the LNA. The Ministry of Health has declared a state of emergency. The GNA has reportedly carried out airstrikes on the LNA positions to the south of the city and declared a no-fly zone, saying it will shoot down any rogue aircraft on site. LNA is the Libyan National Army. That's General Khalifa Haftar. The GNA is the UN-backed government of national accord in supporting militias. The various factions of militias and towns surrounding Tripoli are with the UN-backed government. So, Haftar ordered his forces to march on to the capital, saying in an audio recording posted online, "We are coming, Tripoli, we are coming." He also urged his forces to enter the city peacefully and only raise weapons in the face of those who seek injustice and prefer confrontation and fighting. Russia has spoken of their deep concern with the escalation after denying reports for the Libyan general when questions were raised over Moscow's intentions in North Africa on Friday. I mean, I saw reports that Russia has assisted this individual, this general, but it's not totally clear to me. The Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said he hoped the crisis would not lead to renewed bloodshed, adding that Moscow did not support Haftar. Asked if Russia considers supporting Libya militarily, Peskov said no, Moscow is not taking part in any of in this in any way. Militias from the western cities of Zawiya and Misrata, which control Tripoli, said they had mobilized to confront Haftar on Friday. "We are the revolutionaries and the elders. We declare we are in full mobilization and war." Those are the surrounding cities and militias, Zawiya and Misrata, that are supporting the UN-backed government in Tripoli, who has a prime minister that I assume was appointed by the UN. That is the UN General Secretary General Antonio Guterres departs from Benghazi airport after he had met with Khalifa Haftar. Anti-Haftar activists on social media posted pictures of what they described as militiamen from Zawiya capturing dozens of Haftar's forces in armored vehicles, carrying stickers reading the 106th Battalion. The unit is known to be commanded by Haftar's son, Khalid, one of its largest units Haftar has deployed to march on Tripoli. So the reports were that dozens of vehicles, those trucks with heavy artillery in the back of them, were captured along with about 150 troops of Haftar's. Also, Misrata militia launched an airstrike targeting Haftar's position at the foot of the mountains of Nafusa, he said. He didn't elaborate on the numbers of casualties. That I don't understand. I didn't know, how the Misrata militia have aircraft. I believe it was the Libyan, the UN-backed government of Libya that has the air force that had done airstrikes on Khalifa Haftar's troops moving towards Tripoli and at the southern part of the city. And supposedly Khalifa Haftar vowed retaliation for those airstrikes. All right, so that's pretty much the story there, man. And we'll see if this develops into a full-blown, civil war. But it definitely seems to be getting pretty hot, you know. Russia has also called on parties in the escalating conflict to find an agreement. Speaking in Egypt, Russia Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov also warned against what he called as foreign meddling in Libya. Russia and Egypt have provided support for General Haftar. UN envoy Ghassan Salame said on Saturday that the conference planned for 14th through 16th April would still be held in time, despite the escalation, unless compelling circumstances forces us not to. Who is Khalifa Haftar? Born in 1943, the former army officer helped Muammar Gaddafi seize power in 1969 before falling out with him and going into exile in the United States. He returned in 2011 after the uprising against Gaddafi began and became a rebel commander. In December, Haftar met Prime Minister Fayez al-Sarraj from the UN-backed government at a conference but refused to attend official talks. That's the UN-backed Prime Minister, who is still in power. He visited Saudi Arabia last week, where he met with King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for talks. That's Khalifa Haftar, and that's what the situation is right now. It'll continue to develop probably overnight and throughout the weekend into Monday, and we'll see where we are then. All right, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.